David T. Cunningham, 51, assistant football coach at MSU. Very straight male. Well, I mean, it's pretty cut and dried to me. Bit of old school. You're either male or you're female, and I was born male. That's the way I look at gender. It's one of two options, two boxes to check. Check one up, I check male. Just typical at that time. Typical small town life. You play till dark, you come in and eat, and go to school during the year. Raised in a very religious household. Education was important. Both my parents were educators, grandparents were educators, so education was stressed. But as far as being a male, you played Little League baseball, Little League football, Little League basketball. It was a different time back then, certainly. Probably, unfortunately, females did not have as many opportunities in terms of athletics. But as I got older, then you had high school, men's and women's basketball, and we even had some girls that played Little League baseball. Even though it was obviously all male at that time, I don't think anybody was against it. I just don't think many females did it. I want to say, I'm trying to think back now, we did have a girl play Little League baseball. It seemed like when I was playing. It was kind of a big deal just because nobody had done it before. Yeah. It was never an anti-female, just was not a non-issue, at least that I knew of. It shaped the way I am today, but gender-wise, I was going to be me regardless. But although I guess being raised in a traditional household, certainly my views are male-centric, for lack of a better term. And if old school would be a term I would use to describe how I view gender and pretty much values and everything. So it did affect me. Just being raised in what I would call a traditional, religious, education-based, old school household. Well, I guess I'm very traditional in terms of how I look at things, whether it be politics or gender itself or the way people interact, equal rights. I would describe it as being traditional male. I don't think it's chauvinist, although some people probably would describe it that way. I would just describe it as being probably the traditional male of a child of the 80s, probably high school. I mean, that was never, when I was growing up, you were basically pushed into male-dominated areas. It wasn't encouraged you to do things that weren't associated with male gender, so it was never a situation where you wavered. You just did what guy things were. You played sports, played Army, Cowboys and Indians. You did male type things. But certainly as you hit puberty and you start to notice girls and you get older and then you become more of a adult male as opposed to a young boy, I suppose. It's hard for me to say because not to be facetious, but having never been a female, I can't think of any. I don't have anything to compare it by. But little things like certainly you look at what most women feel they have to do just from listening to them talk to get ready to go to dinner or meet or just to go to class. Even in college, that was the big joke. You're a guy, you go to sleep, you put a hat on. You can make it to class in 5 minutes, but nobody really notices. But if you're a female, you're expected to look a certain way, and I was glad to never have to worry about that. And certainly and growing up especially, there was a double standard for sexual activity. Still is to a certain extent for male and female. It was kind of boys can be boys, and it's okay to be promiscuous. But females, if you did the same type of activity, you would be portrayed in a very negative light. So that was a burden you have to worry about. And I don't know. It's hard for me to think. I didn't have any sisters either. Any sisters, don't have any daughters. I had a niece. So my mom used to always lecture my brother and I that we would feel differently about male, female gender and how we looked at things if we had a daughter. And my brother has a daughter now. I suppose it's changed his approach, but not having a sister, not having a daughter, probably am not as in touch with the feminine point of view maybe as other people are. I think dependable would be something I take pride in. Honest, self-critical. I think it's important, especially in my profession, that you're willing to critically self-evaluate. I like to think I'm humble, dependable, hardworking, that type of. Again, old school is a word that I embrace and would be proud of. Be associated with traditional values. I think everything should be fair. In terms of pay, I think it should be performance-based. If a woman does a better job or as good a job, she should get paid the same. But I do think I get frustrated sometimes with females. They want gender equality in certain areas and not others. You look at and I never served in the military, but you hear this constant push to get women in the front lines, which I'm not so sure is something that I'm real comfortable doing. But also they adjust the test, physical demands on tests for women to be in certain professions, whether it be police or serving in the front lines of the military. And if you want to do the same job, then you need to be prepared to do, if not the exact same rate of physical work, pretty close. It has to be an adjustment for the physiological differences between genders. But certainly I think everything should be fair, but I want it to be fair both ways. And I do think there are differences. Just because there's differences doesn't make one sex or one gender weaker. There just are differences in male and female. And you need to be able to recognize that in professions and careers. But in terms of pay, I have no problem with equal pay. But if you have equal pay, you should be expected to do the same work. My argument or my frustration with these arguments, whether it be gender equality or political politics or racial equality. Just tell both sides of the story, be fair. And too often you just get one side of the story. You're talking about people being treated unfairly. There's also a lot more to it. Lots performance based. And if you can't do the same job as a person of another gender, and it could go both ways, then you probably shouldn't get paid the same. But if you can do the same type of work at the same level, same rate, same quality, then certainly I'm all for fair and equal pay. I think the big thing with me is trying to always evolve. But I still think you have to have your values, the things you believe in, whether it's based on your religion or your family upbringing, your area you're from, and you want to be open-minded and listen to people. But there's certain values and norms you stick to, but you have to also be able to adjust your views. And I would never want to just intentionally hurt somebody's feelings, and whether it's an argument over gender or politics. At the same time, I think at some point you have to respectfully stand your ground, state your case in a reasonable way, listen to other people's arguments. And quite often, missing in our society is just the agreement to agree to disagree. Cordially, respectfully, I respect your opinion, I disagree with it, but I listen to it. You made some valid points, I made some valid points, and we can continue to coexist, just maybe not talk about those subjects. So when I hear about gender equality or, whether it be really any type of inequality, my thing is just be fair, have some facts to back up your argument. Don't just make it emotional based. Listen to other people, be open minded, and eventually you got to end up what you believe in.
Dang.